Well, Kelly's Court is back in session. On the docket today, a home intruder shot dead by a teenage mom. Sarah McKinley claims she was forced to shoot a man who broke into her Oklahoma home. Now, under Oklahoma law, it is completely legal to use deadly force against an intruder under certain circumstances. The 18-year-old says two men were beating on her door, so she grabbed her 3-month-old son. She locked herself in a room with a gun, and she called 911. Here's the audio from the 911 call.
I'm here by myself with my infant baby. Can I please get a dispatcher out here immediately?
Are your doors locked?
Yes, I've got two guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
I can't tell you that you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby.
So with no time to wait for police, Sarah wound up pulling the trigger.
So I waited till he come in the door, and when he did, I shot him. I didn't know what else to do. I wanted him to hurry and get her before I had to do it. They didn't get here quick enough.
Joining me now, Lise Wheel, Fox News legal analyst, and Joey Jackson, criminal defense attorney. So, panel, the prosecution has decided not to charge her with anything. And in fact, there was a second accomplice to the intruder, and he has been charged with first-degree murder. Lise, do you agree with the prosecution's decision?
Absolutely. The prosecution got this 100% right. This poor woman, an 18-year-old woman with her 3-month-old son, as you said, Megan, had just lost her husband a week before to lung cancer. In that lung cancer, he had all these medications, these drugs for lung cancer that were in the house. She had been burglarized, or she thought she'd been burglarized before, probably by this guy. Also, this guy knew her husband and had come, Megan, on Christmas Day, or sorry, not Christmas Day, the day of the funeral, to her home, and said, tried to get in then. So she knew who this guy was. The time that they came, the two of them came, and she shot him dead. He had a 12-inch knife, Megan, when he entered her home. Castle law in Oklahoma says, yes, you shoot him dead. I would have done the same thing. She's absolutely in the right. And for the accomplice, it's something called felony murder. You go into something like that where a murder, i.e. his accomplice, the one who died, it happened, you are responsible for that murder.
If you're committing a felony,
which they were, burglary,
and somebody dies, you can be charged with first-degree murder
yourself. They got
yourself.
it right, Megan.
All right, Joey, if you're the defense attorney hired now, or, well, I guess, I don't know, if you're the attorney representing the family of the dead guy, that's who would be objecting to this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What is the case for prosecution? Why does anything smell about this case to you?
All right, a couple of things. First of all, on the issue as to, this woman in shooting. Now, I would never want to be in this position. I don't think any of us would want to be, but two things concern me. One is the imminency of the threat. There was 21 minutes that took place that elapsed between the time they were breaking in and the time they got in. So it strikes me that there could have been other alternatives explored in terms of alerting them or letting them know that she was in the house, and perhaps if they knew that, they would not have broken in, not have been shot. The second concern I have, Megan, relates to one second, Lise. The second issue that I have relates to the warning, if no warning was provided, and that is that as soon as the person got in the house, boom, they're shot dead. Perhaps she should have given some warning or some other indication she had a gun. Quickly on the issue, Megan.
The law doesn't require that.
I know, but on the issue of the actual person now who's charged with felony murder, what's going to be at issue is whether or not he aided, he abetted, he facilitated, or whether he was just merely present when his friend was engaged in the bad act, got into the house, and that's going to be
what are you talking about?
Go ahead,
warning. Warning? What is he supposed to do? Waving that knife saying, hello, anybody here with a 3-month-old child? I don't think so, Joey. This was the second time he'd come to her home. She knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to get those drugs of her dead husband. And she's on 911. She's doing everything she can do. What's she supposed to do? Jump out the window with her baby?
How do I defend myself
Well,
against such a
some
brilliant
evidence
argument?
here, Joey, but there's some evidence here that this guy, according to her mother, either stalked her or had followed her around at a rodeo 2 years ago, and then he bumped into her again at a convenience store, then showed up at her door, introducing himself as a neighbor.
Right.
I mean, you tell me, are they going to argue that there was a relationship there? I'm not suggesting that there was, but you know how they're going to try to argue this. The guy who gets charged with first-degree murder is going to argue this, or the family of the dead guy is going to suggest something.
Oh, 100%, because now what you have is a person charged with first-degree murder, and he was there, and all indications are, at least from her perspective, that is the woman who shot, that he was also knocking on the door, attempting to get in. And so, therefore, he has to be defended in the best possible way.
Good luck with that. It's called plead out.
Did he aid and
That is what
abet,
it's called.
Lise?
Try to
All
get
right,
a few
panel.
Was he an aider or a better?
Good job. We'll be right back. Don't go away.